It's November, and we're back to Glimmers of Joy. This is our second edition, and I'm trying something new with some video. And I'm Karen Dickrell. I'm the lifespan educator with University of Wisconsin-Madison Extension based in Outagamie County. So how do you find your glimmers of joy in life? Is it the big fireworks and all the shiny, shimmery things that happen after a basket or a baseball game, or perhaps the 4th of July? Is it that excitement? Are your glimmers of joy found in nature? And maybe it's the falling leaves that we have now in November and the start of snow. We've already gotten some snow in some parts of Wisconsin and Minnesota. And where do you find your joy? Where are those glimmers? And if you look in the corner in the far right, is your glimmer of joy the light at the end of the tunnel, that things will change? If you've ever spilled glitter, that picture in the far left corner there, maybe kind of that glitter that was all over the place. And pretty soon you were finding it all over the house. Well, is that your glimmer of joy? For some people, it's when we accomplish something and we see that light at the end of the tunnel, or we've made and achieved something that we've been working for a long time. So it's, how do you find those glimmers of joy in your life? Life is changing and we need to be fluid and flexible and go with the flow. Some people call that concept resiliency. One of my favorite sayings that I use in many of my classes is, blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. So if something happens in your life, and you never know when I do this, I never know if it's going to break or not. And this today, it's not breaking totally. So I still have some of my big toothpick, my skewer in place. And I could take some duct tape and I could kind of tape it back together, but it's not going to be quite what it was before. And we find that with life. Our lives have changed drastically in the last 9 months. And our November is not what it was last year. And what we need to try and concentrate on with our families is to kind of be like that rubber band ball and be more flexible and try and think of different ways to do things. So how are we going to celebrate our family time in November, and what are we going to do? I'm going to share with you some ideas on how to do that today. So what I'm sharing with you is from a Harvard study of adult development, and it was 75 years in the making. So this is steeped in research and findings that I'm going to share with you. Relationships are really important, and to find the glimmer of joy in our relationships is very critical at this point in time. Social connections are important. We don't want to be lonely. But we sometimes have to think outside the box of how can we connect with others. And it may not be the Thanksgiving that we always had. We may have to look at different traditions. The quality of the relationships are also important. And we know that conflict it's not healthy. But we have to face things as much as we can and get some good communication skills and listening skills as well when we're dealing with other people. Good relationships help to protect our brain, and it protects us as people. And it's important to count on other people and to know that they're going to be there for us. Maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's a Zoom, maybe it's a letter that you're sending, or it might be just a wave to your neighbor across the street. If you're newly retired, which some of my friends are, you had workmates and people that you worked with, and now you need to find some playmates. So it's important to reach out to family and friends and community, reach out to others. And the good life is built with relationships. And it might be through your church, it might be through other things that are going on in your community that you can reach out and give of yourself. Have you ever spilled a container of glitter? What happened? Did you leave it for others to discover, or did you quickly clean up the mess? Sometimes leaving a part of ourselves with others is also important. So those notes, those phone calls, those little gestures that you make for others are really important when we're reaching out to find that glimmer of hope and joy. Find the small joys that you can extend and share with others, and hopefully those glitters and glimmers of joy will stick. For more information about Glimmers of Joy and resiliency and communication skills, you can contact me at karen.dickrell@wisc.edu. And these resources, again, came from a Harvard study of adult development, 75 years in the making. Thanks, and I wish you well during the month of November, thinking about how we're trying to fix and come up with new ways of being more resilient and stretching ourselves as we look forward to what's happening in November and moving forward. More joy to you. Bye, Karen.